We go live. We're live. We're live. Another dose of alpha. Eric, how are you, sir?
Woot woot! I'm doing well. How you doing, Brian?
Dude, I'm pumped about this topic. We're gonna dive right into it. But first, an advertisement. No, I'm just kidding. No advertisement. All right. Yeah, just like and subscribe button. No. Okay. Here's the thing. AI tokens or crypto tokens? Go.
Absolutely, the future somewhere in between.
Oh,
So
okay. No,
yeah,
no, no,
so
no. AI tokens or crypto tokens? Come on. Let's get there. Let's get
yes,
into it. Yes. That's still a non-answer answer. You got to
uh, the,
commit, dude.
the answer is not either of what exists.
Okay, right. Yeah. So you're saying that democracy is the best form of government, at least yet, right? Like
So
that's like a polished answer.
I don't think democracy has ever been the best form of government to
Right.
exist. But as far as crypto tokens, what people have finally come to terms with and expect most things going to zero is they tokenize an idea, they privatize any revenue or value that ever came from it. Very few things ever saw revenue. If and when they do, the token is used as a means of paying things, but equity is used as the means of hoarding the wealth and whatnot that comes from it. So individual founders and investors get filthy rich, but the DAO and the people who invested in the community never really saw their day. In general, crypto tokens haven't really worked out the way that everyone had hoped they would, but they did work out the way that they actually passed the Howey test, which was, saying that they aren't actually valuable, and that has proven to be true. AI tokens, on the other hand, are incredibly useful. They give you access to compute, they give you access to these models, they allow you to increase your productivity significantly, but they're not really tradable, and you can't really make a whole bunch of money on them yet because they expire after 5 to 8 hours. They're not easily resellable. You can't use them on chain. You can't borrow against them. They're like options that expire in 5 to 8 hours and go away very quickly, and there's no advanced, robust marketplace for them. So the future is a mix of both, where you do have fungible compute. You have fungible crypto tokens that you can trade and use and leverage with the understanding that they expire, but you can get these predictive streams in this marketplace and use all of the cool things that crypto enabled. But you're doing it for things that definitively have value, which is the access to compute and productivity that AI enables.
Yeah, so because it's like not in person, like a gym membership, effectively what you're saying is like we can use your gym space and use that compute. So like obviously if this comes to market, the pricing of the subscription will have to go up because people are going to be using way more compute and everybody will just pile their extra compute on there if they're not using it.
So projections are already saying that the price of subscriptions are going to go up astronomically. Anthropic, OpenAI, like all these companies are subsidizing heavily the token prices currently. My $200 a month subscription to Claude that gives me the Pro Max or whatnot, I'm getting thousands of dollars worth of tokens for that subscription. If I'm actually using my tokens, which I am, they are operating my account at a significant loss. That is not sustainable. So yes, the price of tokens are going to go up. They're all trying to finish this raise show distribution, and then the cost of everybody's Claude and Codex and OpenAI is going to go up a
I
lot.
hear you, but like compute is always like going, Moore's law and these open models are like pretty cool. I can run an open model on my Mac Mini, like and get 90% of the way there. It's not Fable, it's not 4.8, it's not Codex, 5.4, 5.5, whatever we're on. It's fine. Like, but I'm like 90% of the way, and I can just run it forever on my Mac.
Yeah, a really smart guy once gave me a good analogy one time. He was explaining the differences about laying fiber optics and the government contracts that they're able to get, with the expectation that people were going to be stoked about having 100 gig up and down or load or 100
Yeah.
gigabyte up and down load speeds to their house directly. And realistically, people were happy just spending Verizon and spending to AT&T and just
Like five
getting
bucks a month.
1 gig up and down. That was good
Yeah.
enough. Similarly, we don't need Fable 5 responding to an email for us. But people are so used to, okay, new model came out, everything's based on the new model. A lot of retail users aren't actually maximizing their credits anyways. So you have a nuke to kill a fly. In
Okay.
essence, is what's going on.
So what are we building here? Are we gonna? Or is there a need for a timeshare?
There is a need for timeshare. There is a need for aggregation. There is a need for maximizing the spend that's already going on. Let me break this down.
Whoa, going deep.
Airline mile. Okay, airline miles. You
Yeah.
get so many for when you fly, but you can't have somebody else use your airline miles. I go to say get frozen yogurt with my kids, and I might get a couple hole punches on my card. But what I don't do is sit there and have everybody else who buys ice cream use my hole punch card because they don't have one. If I do, they might be like, "Yo, you can't be doing that. You're gaming the system."
The lady at my Safeway, she scans her Safeway every time.
Okay, so that's what travel advisors will do, where or how Expedia first got super big. So Expedia being an aggregator for travel, and so as you book through them, they then put in their own codes, and they get all of the free miles from all the airlines. So they're basically getting all of your not only wholesale discounts, but then also the extra discounts on your behalf, and that's something that they can monetize. This is missing right now, or at least not.
Ooh, I love Expedia. It's great.
I
But
love
then
Expedia as
Google
well.
took it over too. Google their search is better and faster.
Mhm.
Kayak,
So
Priceline.
what I'm saying is right now, my $200 a month membership to Anthropic is probably going to go up to $3,000 a month in about 6 to 12 months.
There's no way.
Yeah, and a
Dude,
lot.
there's no way. No,
Or
and
the
nobody's
other
gonna pay for that.
June 22nd, we lose access to Fable 5.
Oh shucks, I used it. It's okay. It's nice.
It's okay, it's great, but now you're seeing that as new models roll out, the existing subscriptions don't get access to them.
Right,
So
because
one,
but I'm not gonna have the FOMO. I'm not gonna the utility. Like I found a good utility. Do I need that much more steroids for my programming capability? I
we'll
don't think I
see.
do.
What do you lose the competitors that have it? We'll see. It's gonna depend on the
That's a good
market.
point. It depends on what type of where your competition lies on what forefront, right? And does more tokens and more compute actually occur? If you're trying to build a monopoly like of a wrapper, okay, this goes into another topic, which is like the order book versus AI slaves, AI assistants. Slaves is like more fun to say because
Clangers.
it's so wrong, but it feels like we're doing the same thing again. So you got the human order book or AI slaves, and I want to talk about that later. But first, let's double click into this thing. Sorry, I lost the train of thought for a second. Is such a fun topic. These tokens are crypto tokens. Are they just at the end of the day? Are we going to see these AI compute tokens just as crypto tokens trading?
A way of form of them, yes. I think that they will be indexed to a point where they are usable in crypto, without being crypto native like something like VVV is.
Yeah, so you got VVV, you got Morpheus, Open Routers now doing $1.2 billion of revenue a year. They're
Yeah.
doing some routing algorithms and stuff between it. It's pretty cool, man.
And so they're routing between which model to use. What I'm talking
Yeah.
about is routing between using maximizing the existing compute tokens that are already created.
Which makes total sense. So Amazon used to have these things where there were certain times of day that they would have these instances, if you were running these crawlers and you could spin up through DevOps, you would say, okay, run the server when it hits this price point. And it was always in the middle of the night, and we would spin up the crawlers at night because bada boom, it's cheaper to run the crawlers in the same system. It was a DevOps nightmare, but after you take care of that, AI takes care of DevOps so good.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. Additionally, now Anthropic will even prompt you when you're using Claude and you're building your agents. It's like, hey, why don't you have this daily agent run at 3 a.m. when it's not very busy? And that's a good start because they're trying to protect their ass. I mean, AWS came up as an accident because they were crashing every time they had a Cyber Monday, and they had to sustain themselves for the highest demand. Similarly, AI's servers are going to have to sustain themselves for the busiest hours, which then makes them cheaper to use in the cheaper hours. So this arbitrage of when you do tasks, as OpenRouter is showing on which models and where you do tasks. But additionally, as we get more and more limitations and prices rise for these subscriptions for active models, we're going to see more people deploying local models. So yay for increase in prices of Mac minis. Yes, for NVIDIA continuing to go up and all these chips being very, very valuable because now you have AI at home. But additionally, you're going to get more of the pay per access for these models instead of subscription. And if you do it properly, and if we're able to tokenize this properly, you'll be able to access the highest models of Claude and OpenAI for higher than their subscription amount. Like, you'll access more compute than their subscription provides for a lower price than their subscription costs.
That means their subscription models will increase these terms of service, and they'll like cut out the subscriptions.
It means when they're going to keep doing the subscriptions as much as possible, it means we would be eating into their subscription service, and we will force them to raise their prices because we're going to eat into the margin. The margin for them comes from created compute tokens that don't get used, and we're going to drastically increase the utilization of compute tokens.
Just like gym memberships, were like 10%, like 90% subsidized for the 10% that go every day, and they're there like 5 hours a day.
Yeah, but on top of that, it's if I buy one gym membership, me and all 20 of my buddies get to go because we all go one different hour during the day, and we hand them the card on the way out. And so now they sold one membership, and they have a constant person there, and it's servicing 20 people. And now it's like, well, we're really underpriced.
Right, which creates that secondary Expedia market. Right, so that's a big opportunity. That's a big opportunity. Plus, it's like feels like crypto native too. Like, you could take the credit cards, you can like do that, and people can pay. You just transfer, and then we can figure out the payments and the decentralized payments to everything. That's a really good idea. Okay, love that. There's a concept that I wanted to talk to you about. I know it's fresh. It's fresh in my mind. It's over the last like 2 or 3 days. Been doing some like AI stuff. Alpha launch today. We launched and we put up the AI market on Base. So that's super cool. You can borrow against VVV. You can borrow and lend VVV. We're going to get Morpheus up there. You can borrow dollars. You can borrow ETH. Really good if you want to like, go delta neutral on your LP position. Stupid smart way to make some money. We'll probably end up building a vault on top of that. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If you're interested in a VVV vault or an ETH vault, cranking out 20, 30%, let's chat. I'm not supposed to shill it because it's not built. So it's just an idea. It's not real. I'm not selling anything. This is not financial advice. But if you're interested, I'm happy to chat. Cool. So yeah, leaning into this, we're launching a market on 0G as well. Okay, cool. That's like the lending. That's the alpha stuff. There's going to be incentives. There's going to be games. It'll be fun. However, a lot of people are scared of AI, and a lot of people think it's like the biggest opportunity of our lifetimes to like before things start to like siphon up to oligarchs. And I think the answer is like you at the beginning of the show. Yes, they're both true at the same time, but in different scopes, in different time frames, in different industries and different industry segments. So there's this concept I want to throw out there: slaves versus order books. Okay. All right. You have any idea where this is going?
No.
Okay, good. So you have a couple different like constructs. Like, look, history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. And this rhyme on the human side is, I think we're going to turn humans and humans' capabilities and human value creation into order books.
How
I know. So? Okay. The entirety of like the value of human capabilities will be pushed into an order book as we can commoditize and associate value for things that we deem as a commodity and repeatable process. We did this with Uber. That's the most basic representation of it, right? So Uber, Lyft, and of course we're gonna have like AI driving cars later. But what we did was we took what's up?
Waymo. It's already driverless.
Yeah.
And they're great.
It's a little bit weird.
They're good.
You didn't take the Waymo in Miami with us, did you?
No.
We had to get out.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it took like a 1.5 hour route. That was like a 15-minute route.
What?
And we couldn't control it or tell it.
I took several in San Francisco, and I'm like, there were like weird like construction things going on. They handled it better than I would have, and I'm like, damn, okay.
Probably because the trading data. They've been there longer. It was pretty new in Miami, right? So it was like we had to get out and we got an Uber, but it'll get there. But like that's like the point, right? So it's like you have this window of opportunity where Uber and Lyft, they turn the human capabilities into an order book. Like how much are you willing to do? How much are you willing to spend? How much of your time and gas money on your side as your own independent business? That Uberification will drive the next wave of of AI distribution and AI integration into like services,
So
human-based services.
so instead of us, in the skill marketplace for AI, it's AI's running Fiverr to hire us.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And there's a myriad of companies to be made in that space. And but the one everybody's talking about is basically like employees, like services. There's this concept, I forget what the name of it was. They're like an investment thesis is like services as a product.
Service as a
It's like,
software.
yeah, services as software, right? And what they're really talking about here is like you have a task, you want to get the task done, you want to hire an employee, but you don't really want a whole employee. You just want an employee to do that task. The AI does that task and you pay that AI. So you pay that employee, but you don't want to pay them like bigly. You want to pay them teeny
Yeah.
tiny for
You
the
don't want to
task.
hire a CFO anymore. You just want the reports done when you need them. It's all done into skills that were made by CFOs, and now you pay them $100 a year, and you don't have to hire a CFO.
So you're going to take my thesis on this is like that one is all kind of obvious. We've talked about like a lot of people are talking about the AI assistant, the slave, the servant, that type of whole thing, right?
Hmm.
But we haven't really talked about the human order book. But I think what you get is this weird juxtaposition between the type of company you are. And you eventually will be part of both. Like there's things that you're going to automate that you're going to need assistance for. And basically like, but if you need the business, like if you need business, you're going to become part of the order book until your rating goes up, you build your brand big enough, like people know who you are, you got your thing. And then you kind of switch over to like, look, I don't need to be part of the order book anymore. I've hit escape velocity. Like I don't need to go get a job. I don't need to put in a resume. I've hit, escape velocity, but I do need help and I do need assistance.
This is exactly how hospitals work, how like doctors' offices work.
Huh.
Like when you want to be in network for somebody, you join their networks. You're given upfront money, and patients can go to you until you fill up, and you just stop taking patients anymore, and then you hike up your prices until you lose your patients.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
Huh.
That what you described, that model is effectively you're part of the order book. You hit escape velocity, grow big enough, you start hiring your own assistants, your own tokens, service as a product, blah, 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 and you get the AI and you hit escape velocity. Because I had an issue. I have a pool party on Saturday. It's going to get very personal really quickly. Net, I called 6 pool companies in the area. One responded to me, we can get to you in 2 weeks.
There's more demand than supply. There should be an order book for people who can do pool services, and they should be able to get a 1-day certificate after taking their training course, and they should be able to go get to you tomorrow and get their first paycheck. You're absolutely right. I've been telling a bunch of people lately that their Anthropic certificates that they can get in a month or less are worth so much more than any college degree. It doesn't matter if it's chemical engineering, doesn't matter if it's from Brown. Like your Anthropic certificate is worth more.
It reminds me of like my out of college. One of the reasons why I got a job, I could do the work and I built database systems before, but it was like I was able to build an API, and they're like, "You can build APIs." I was like, "Yeah, I built an API on this thing," and they're like, "Oh, we need an API developer right away. Here you go." Like, it got a gig, and it wasn't like it was like self-taught, and I was bad at it, and then I got professional and good at it, but like it was good enough for them. Like I knew what calls were, async, blah blah blah, all this other crap. Same is true with your Anthropic certificate right now. Wait, you're an AI developer? Oh yeah.
Yep.
You're an AI consultant? You know how to like that's super duper valuable. Like, and you see that transition, right? So you go like, APIs, client server technology, that allowed for mobile. Mobile allowed for like wallets and image recognition, and the social media like came an explosion. That probably led to some form of crypto. Crypto was like getting down. Now people were like doing crypto on wallets. And now we're going back to AI. This is the next wave. This is the next Cambrian explosion of apps, dApps, and new paradigm shifts in everything we do. So
now SEO, the SEO craze, which is now switching to GEO, where you're trying to basically control where AI goes. Eventually, it's going to be how to influence the cloud services or whatnot for your human order book to rank your SEO higher so that you get paid a higher rate than other people do as a
But it's
marketing spend to
moving.
move up the leaderboard. Huh.
It's moving so fast, dude,
Yeah.
that you're not going to have regulation around this, and it's going to be all cloud regulation,
Yeah.
like Balaji.
I
This
mean,
cloud regulation
governments,
idea is like so smart.
only a dictatorship can move fast enough to keep up with regulation. Like anything else can't. It has to go to vote. By the time vote happens, technologies change. Last weekend, Cloudflare announced that over 50% of internet traffic was AI, and Anthropic released that their development on Claude, instead of going 4x the speed, is now going 52x the speed, and is done nearly 70% by AI itself. That more AI is building Claude than they are.
Yeah.
It's going
Let's
fast.
tokenize this. So that's what needs to be tokenized. If you're like, hey, RWA is great, AI tokens, it needs to be tokenized, it needs to be decentralized.
The ultimate RWA is generalized compute. This is a step shy of generalized compute, but it is temporary generalized compute with massive time restraints. And we're used to things with time constraints. We're used to dealing with Pendle. We're used to dealing with options. We know how to handle expiration. We understand how to price time and risk. And with those tools, we could turn these tokens into tokens people know what to do with.
That's fun. It's fun. So if you're looking for a solution for token generation demand, we can help you out on that. Any pushback on the order book versus assistance?
No, I expected to have a lot more than I do. I think some sort of Fiverr order book for non-autonomous skills makes a lot of sense. And that's scary. I think it's going to have to be tied into education. It's got to be tied in some kind of certificate, the same way you have, contractors have to get a contractor's license.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, and then everything's Yelp. Yelp meets Fiverr.
It's done, dude. Yelp's done. Angie's List is done. All those guys are done.
Yeah.
It's just is the
original software games are so beatable with AI at this point that there's not even a market for them to reframe in. There's no way Yelp can come back and ignore AI. And even then, who wants it?
I don't know. I think that's the interface, right? Somebody said to me, if you had to reimagine the interface, what it would be. And okay, so let me caveat. Here's other really cool feedback that I got. What I'm about to say is a very dude-driven world. Okay. We still haven't seen what it is on the female side of the spectrum world of what I'm about to say here. So I think the dude-driven world is very efficiency-based. It's very services-based, but it's not shopping. So it's like, I have a problem. And somebody was asking me like 2 days ago, like, what's the corollary to this? The AI is like your dad, or you're like your grandfather, like some like wise old thing that you're like, you just wanted to solve your problem. And so people are going to get so used to, I already call Grok my wife's boyfriend. Like, like, it's just like this thing where it's just like, yeah, go ask your boyfriend. Like I know what I'm talking, whatever, but it's fun. And so these weird different like new UI UX habits start to apply. And I'm relying on the Groks, the Claudes, the ChatGPTs more and more to the point where I'm, recommend me something. Now, why don't you just do it for me? Okay. Can I just swipe my credit card? Just how Google at the beginning of this broke into Kayak, broke into Expedia and Priceline, and now they have Google Flights and Google Hotels and all that stuff. The same thing will start to happen if you own the channel of distribution, which everybody is chatting more in the channel of distribution more and more. So is the end game of this, the generic AI, just a Priceline, just taking over Google, just a Kayak, but across the board for everything? Just swipe my token credits and AI credits and give me, some pool help, or like give me a ride to the airport. Can I trade my token, like my Claude token credits and airline miles enough and back and forth? And that's not seamless yet. So there's still businesses to be run, and that's the alpha.
Yep.
So yeah, I think we're going to see generalized AIs really crush in terms of distribution. And and then swipe a credit card, spend some AI tokens, get whatever you need.
What sucks is back in like 2017, there were a ton of like, ICOs and like projects coming out about renting out your compute for like these like global compute like mega bases. And everyone's like, oh yeah, this is a cool idea. Then they flash out by 2018, 2019. Now the demand's actually there for that. They were ahead of their time. There was no market yet.
Oh, there was one, Silicon Valley, I think it's called. I don't know. I'll find it. It's really cool. They're doing that. They got whole warehouses of GPUs running, and they're just the APR on these things. They're trying to tokenize it, and the APR is like crazy. It's like completely bought out. 27, 30% APR on for every like new GPU they put up. There's just so much demand. Cool. What else you got? Or is this good?
I think this was good.
All right. AI tokens or crypto tokens.
If you guys are interested in anything we talked about and you're trying to do something in that space, hit us up. We're doing fun stuff.
And that has been a dose of alpha. Thanks for hopping on the stream.
Thank you, Brian.
All right. Chat later.